Welcome, my shine and thrivers, back to the podcast. Today I'm starting the episode a little bit emotional. Oh my gosh, I am here and so excited and so proud to celebrate my student, Jennifer Jacquot, who has an incredible transformation story to share with you. How she went from being an overworked, stressed out, burnt out photographer that had to say no to spending time with her family way more than she wanted, to her having so much more time abundance with her family, her getting rid of sitting behind her desk doing things that really drained her energy, like editing, sitting behind a computer, hunched over, editing upon hours on end, trying to catch up, keep up with that never ending queue, right? You know what I'm talking about. I definitely know how that feels. Long time ago, I was there too. And yeah, I'm just here to celebrate her and her transformation and excited to share the story. Um, today's episode, I won't be teaching you on the power and all the benefits that come with outsourcing. Like, I've already done so many episodes that cover that. And if you want to learn more about that, I would suggest that you listen to the rest of this episode, listen to Jennifer's story, because it's very down to earth, raw, real, how she describes where she was. And I can even relate to her story because I was definitely in that place where you just don't think that getting help with, for example, outsourcing your editing is even possible in a way where you still feel like an artist, your images are still well taken care of, all of that. And I know you could be sitting there thinking the exact same thing. Like, I don't even think it's possible. I don't know. I don't think it's possible. So just hear her story out. And then I suggest, if you want to learn a bit more about outsourcing, dive into some past recent episodes. You can tell in the titles which ones are about outsourcing, and just continue your learning and research that way. But before we dive into this episode, I do want to share that you all, so many of you, have been messaging me being like, when is Outsourcing Made Easy opening next? When is it opening up next? And every fall is when I open the doors to Outsourcing Made Easy. And because so many of you have messaged me being like, I regret not signing up fall 2022. And you're like, I regret not doing it. I want my systems in place. I don't want to miss another summer. I don't want to have another burnt out year, an overworked year. Like, any chance you could open up the doors. And so I have listened and I have some really exciting news. And so pretty much next week, from March 15th to the 18th. Wait, let me double check those dates because they get confused in my mind a bit because they're like odd dates. Yes. Sorry, not March. May 15th to the 18th. That is when the doors to Outsourcing Made Easy will be open, just for 4 short days. So you definitely don't want to miss this window, because then they won't be open again until the fall of 2023, this year. So make sure right now, like if you're walking or something, or you're doing chores or you're editing, just like pause and mark your calendar. Like May 15 to 18, OMI doors are open, because that is a time frame where you will be able to, reach out to me, ask me questions specifically in the DMs, be like, hey, Sarah, this is my situation. This is where I'm at in my business. Is this the right time for me for this course? I've said no to people before because it just hasn't been the right timing. Maybe they just don't have enough bookings yet and they need to focus on that more in that time. And they just don't have an overwhelming amount of work yet. And so, but sometimes it is the right time if you're just getting started. So it just, every situation is so different. And so I want to make sure that this is the right choice for you, because hello, like, I value time so much, and I know that your time is your most valuable asset. And I would not want to suggest anything to you if it wasn't the right fit for you to work on and allocate your time for right now in this season, because there might be a better solution for you with where you're at, to another course, another book, or something else to learn in order for you to grow in alignment with where you want to go at this time. So please, like, throughout that time, even now before the doors officially open, if you want to really start like thinking about it and seeing all that, just DM me be like, DM me at Sarah Monica Photo on Instagram. That's Sarah, no H, Monica with a K. And be like, hey, I'm thinking about your Outsourcing Made Easy course. Can you help me decide if it's a good fit for me right now? And I'm going to just ask you some clarifying questions that will literally, it's like I'm your little personal coach in the DMs being like, yes, this is perfect. Or actually, can you just like expand on that a little bit more to help me figure it out? Or no, actually, I would suggest maybe focusing on this first. So make sure to do that and mark your calendars. And then for now, I am going to share with you Jennifer's story. You can also watch this amazing video on YouTube as well, because I had one of my favorite videographers document, there's just her story, her in her home with her family, and it really adds to the feels. And you start seeing like photos of her and her kids and how happy she is that she has this bonus extra time, because time is so fleeting. Kids grow up so fast, right? And it really is a feel good video. That's why I told you I started off this episode a little emotional, because I just finished watching the final edit and I'm like, oh my gosh, like my heart is so happy for her, and it just motivates me so much more to just like, talk about this topic so much more, so that more of you can experience the lifestyle that both I get to live now thanks to outsourcing, and Jennifer, and I know you want to join the party too. So yeah, the next bit of the podcast. Oh, by the way, oh my gosh, you guys know I do this. It's literally 1:11 p.m. I always notice angel numbers while I'm recording podcast episode. This is nuts. So if that's a sign for you, take it as a sign if that speaks to you. So yeah, the rest of this episode will be Jennifer telling her beautiful story. And if you want to get on the wait list, if you're not yet on my email list, make sure you get on it. Go to sarahmonica.com/freedom, because then I'll be emailing my list, May 15th to 18th with the doors open. That's it. That's the only time. They're closing May 18th at midnight Eastern Standard Time. Then you won't be able to get in. So make sure you're on the email list so that you're notified. You don't miss this short little window, because, you can easily get distracted, forget about this. And then on social media, you know how it is. Social media, you can't, like, the reach is totally different nowadays. And it's not guaranteed that you're going to be reminded about it. So if you really want that reminder, even just to explore the idea, you don't have to commit to anything. You don't even have to sign up for Outsourcing Made Easy at the end of the day. If you're like, no, I don't feel aligned with it, but at least like do the due diligence to like research and really give yourself the time to be like, okay, let me explore this. Like, what could my life look like? What could my business look like? Let me hear other stories of photographers, of their experience with it, right? Give yourself that at least, because then at least you won't be wondering, oh, maybe I should, maybe I shouldn't, or later this year in the middle of the summer, you'd be like, oh, damn it, there was that option, but I didn't even explore it. So now I don't even know if I should be regretting it or not. Just like, if you are curious about it, DM me or go to sarahmonica.com/freedom. That's where all the information is. That's where you can also sign up for the wait list, and just give yourself that like closed loop experience, so that at the end of the day, you made the right decision for you, and you can leave it behind in the past, or you can leave it on pause because you're like, yep, I just realized that it's actually better if I wait till next year. I feel really good about that. But if you're drawn to it this year and you're like, I really need support this summer, I want to have a full summer of joy and well-being and freedom with all my favorite people, and the actual freedom to do what I want when I want, not be chained to my desk, hunched over, snacking on the side, watching Netflix, half paying attention because you're really just like working, oh my gosh, for like 12 hours straight, right? If that's the life you want, then that's cool. That's fine. But if you are like, no, I want to be away from my desk, I want to shoot more while working less, I want to make more money, I want to have more time with my favorite people, I want to do more things that inspire me, have new hobbies, and live a really like fulfilling life, then please DM me or go to sarahmonica.com/freedom. Okay, here is Jennifer's success story.
Every meal is a family of 5. There's never a meal that we're not eating together. And that time from the minute they get home until they go to bed is our time. I'm not in the studio. I'm not editing. I'm not responding to messages. I'm doing nothing except focusing on them in the hours that they're awake. I'm Jennifer Jacquot, the owner of Jennifer Jacquot Photography, and I signed up for Sarah's course about a year ago and have loved every minute ever since. Life before the course, insane. I have 3 kids and I was missing out on so many things. I'm a people pleaser. I have a hard time saying no. I wasn't prepared to stop, and life before the course was just a hot mess. It was a hot mess. I grew up in a family where my dad worked all the time. So all of my memories are with my mom. And my son, who's 9, he constantly was saying to me, like, Mommy, come with us, Mommy, come with us. And I'm like, I can't, I have to go photograph a wedding. Trying to find the balance between being everything that I know I want to be for my kids, but also still running a successful business. They weren't lining up at all. So what motivated me to start the course really comes down to seeing a couple friends that had been doing the course. One in particular was Emily McCracken, and I was seeing her post on social media, all these things about this Sarah person, and I had never thought about outsourcing. I didn't think it was something that I would be able to do. I followed Sarah and didn't look back and just took the course, and it was a game changer for me. So when I first started the course, I was so hesitant. I think I messaged Sarah on Instagram like probably 3 or 4 times about like, I'm not sure I'm ready to dive in, and she was so encouraging. And then the day I signed up, I jumped through a bunch of modules, and the first thing she said is like, focus on what you want to focus on. And for me, it was outsourcing my editing. And I was super discouraged because I was like, how am I gonna teach someone? They're gonna have no idea what they're doing, or I'm not gonna know what I'm doing to do this. This is totally brand new. What I thought was going to be the biggest weight on my shoulder was trying to connect with someone and make them feel what I feel when I'm taking these photographs and to deliver what I want to deliver. I was so nervous that that wasn't going to happen. But Sarah literally had so many different modules, step by step, like how to interview for your editor. It was foolproof. You literally just had to follow the modules and you knew exactly what you were getting into. And if I didn't have that, I would have been lost. So before the course, the thing that I was the most uncomfortable with was the control, and that I would be judged that I wasn't a real photographer. I had this idea in my head that the photographer has to do everything. They have to do the bookings, they have to do the calling, they have to do the editing, they have to do everything start to finish. That was my biggest struggle, was letting go of the control, knowing that someone else is handling all of my images and thinking that I wouldn't have control over that. But it's the exact opposite. I have full control, and everything still has to go through me, and it's exactly the way I want it or how I would do it. And I never thought that that would be possible. I never thought that I could train someone to edit how I edit, and it's insane. It's amazing. It's a year later and my life is completely different, and I have financial freedom that I never thought I would have, and I have clients that, you know, come to me over and over again, and I feel like I'm giving them the best customer experience now because I'm not exhausted and I'm not canceling their session and trying to, you know, rebook and find later dates just so I have a night at home with my kids. That's not happening anymore. And just mental health in general, like, is just, you can breathe a little bit better. So currently how my business runs is I still handle all of the inquiries every time I get an email or Instagram message. I handle all the bookings. I handle the planning for every session. I still do all the shooting, which is my absolute favorite part. I love people and I'm very much involved. But the editing was getting to be a lot. And I was trying to find a way that I could focus strictly on what I love, which is the communicating and the shooting and being there for all these amazing moments with my clients. But the long hours I needed to start to get rid of. So I started to outsource all of my wedding editing. I started after the first year of outsourcing weddings to dive into outsourcing my holiday sessions. So I've done my Christmas sessions and my Easter sessions have all been outsourced. So I still go in and I call all the images and I pick all the images, and I still edit all my sneak peeks, and I edit huge sneak peeks for my bride and groom, and then I outsource everything else. And then comes back and I proof and look through everything, and then once that's finished, I send the gallery off to very happy clients. So a belief that was holding me back from starting outsourcing was that I financially couldn't do it. I'm not a photographer that charges, $1,000 for a family session. I feel like I charge fair for where I live, and for the families that I want to attract to my business. But I'm very proud to say that after a full year of outsourcing, I actually reached a goal, and I never imagined that I would ever hit that number. But to reach it and then surpass it while outsourcing and having time back, like it's emotional. And I'm back involved in things with my family and like my friends and like doing all these other things that I wasn't able to do before because I did not believe that I could do it by outsourcing and still make money. And I was very wrong. So when it came to investing, it started with the course, and I thought that the course was fairly priced, but I had never done anything like this before. I'm a self-taught photographer, so I never invested money in much except what was in my studio and the equipment that I needed. And I never really thought of outsourcing as an investment. I never thought that I'd be able to afford to do it. And I didn't really understand what I would get back from it. But once I started the course, it was almost like within the first 6 months. It could have even been less because I tried to take the course during not prime wedding season, and I knew weddings was what I needed to focus on outsourcing. So my first wedding season that year started in June, and within the first month of sending out to my editor 3 weddings, I knew right away that it was completely worth every penny that was spent. It was worth every penny that I paid my editor to do, because the reality is I don't think you can put a price on time. And I was getting so much more time back. And it wasn't necessarily time that I had to put into my business. I could if I wanted to, but I was now focusing on family time, and I was getting to do behind the scenes stuff with my clients, and we made TikToks and stuff like that. So there's all these little fun things that I was able to do because I didn't feel rushed, and I didn't feel like I had to get from A to B just so I could get my hours of editing in. So the return, I would say, just a few months. You meet photographers like Sarah who have like this free-spirited, high energy, like just joy about them, and that encourages other photographers, and it sparks us to be more creative. And when I signed up for the course, I wasn't thinking that I was going to get that. I didn't know what to expect, but to know that I have this whole community of other photographers and editors and all these amazing people who literally are just boosting each other up all the time, it's such a crazy high. It's so nice to feel like you actually have community. Community has always been very important to myself and my family, and to have that in this industry again is just amazing because it wasn't there for a while. So life now is, it's happier. I'm excited to go to every single shoot. I've always been like a bubbly, fun person, but like I'm just more energized than I ever was. As far as my family goes, it's just the time. I have a little sign on my wall, and it says, "Time is your currency. Everything is temporary, and you'll never regret the time you spend with loved ones." And I wasn't doing that. I knew that I was missing these moments, and they would too. My kids are already 9, 8, and 4. There's gonna come a time where they're not sitting in there just waiting for me to finish work. They're gonna be busy doing their own things, and I'm gonna regret that I didn't take the time now. Every meal is a family of 5. There's never a meal that we're not eating together. And that time, from the minute they get home until they go to bed, is our time. I'm not in the studio. I'm doing nothing except focusing on them in the hours that they're awake. So to any photographer that is burnt out and wondering where to go next, I was that person. I had no idea that there was any other way to run a photography business. I thought you had to do it all from start to finish, the shooting, the editing, the calling, everything. And I was so wrong that there's this whole other side of the industry. Knowing my mindset when I started to my mindset now, it's completely different. You don't have to do it the traditional way. There's other ways, and if you ask me, the other way is a lot better. Anyone that is debating, my advice would be just to do it. I really regret not doing it sooner. I should have signed up right away. It would have saved me a lot more time.
I hope you enjoyed Jennifer's story. And with that, it all depends on when you're listening to this episode. So if you are listening to this episode May 15th to May 18th, 2023, the doors are officially open in this short 4-day period. And you can go sign up right now, sarahmonica.com/freedom. You can also DM me at sarahmonicaphoto, ask me any questions, ask me for the link directly. I can help you, again, decide, like I mentioned at the beginning of this episode, if this is the right move for you right now. And outside of that, if you're listening to this episode outside of the doors open dates, then you can still go to sarahmonica.com/freedom to get on the wait list, so that you make sure you don't miss the next time the doors will open. And with that, I bid you adieu and talk to you soon. Bye. Yay! Thank you so much for hanging out with me and tuning into this episode. If you got value out of it, please feel free to message me on Instagram at sarahmonicaphoto, that's Sarah no H, Monica with a K, photo, to let me know. I get so freaking energized hearing from others that what I've said has had a positive impact on their lives. Also, make sure to hit subscribe to the Shine and Thrive podcast to never miss an episode. I'm so grateful for you, and I'm sending you all the productive vibes your way so you have the best week ever.